Hey, yo, what is up, everybody? How are you doing? It is your boy. It is the Birdman. This is the Birdman Show. You already know what to do, so let's do it. Hit it, hit it. That is right. This is the Birdman Show. I am definitely excited to be back here with my wonderful co-host Ace, and of course joining us again. This time for not you be the judge, but something a little bit stranger. It's Carrie. First of all, how the heck are you two doing?
Doing good. I was waiting on Ace, but he's frozen.
I'm not froze. I just want to talk over you. Because he goes, because usually like, hey, how are you doing? Carrie, how are you doing? It's like, no, this time it's like, how the hell are you guys doing? I was like, all right, who's gonna open their mouth first?
Well,
Usually
normally
it's
it's
you.
usually you.
Really,
It is what it is.
Mhm.
It is. I
I
mean, come
can't
on, man.
deny. You're right. It usually is me, but um, I'm doing all right. I'm here. This,
Good,
this,
good.
this is going to be an episode. I'll tell you that.
Oh, it's definitely gonna be an episode. So I definitely want to thank Carrie for this suggestion of this episode. She's quickly becoming public enemy number one for me when it comes to certain suggestions for episodes.
Mhm.
Um, Brit is definitely still public enemy number one.
Judy
Um,
right
like,
there, close second.
yeah, close, very close second, very close. Like Brit takes it just because of the Mandela effect. But I have a sneaky suspicion that either Carrie or some of our other guests that we're gonna have on the show might take that title.
Hey,
But it is what it is.
mission two.
Yeah, yes, that's true. That's true. Hey, Carrie, how you doing? We're just talking about you like you're not even here.
I'm doing all right. Hanging
You
in
doing all
there.
right?
Just a couple more days and get a 3-day weekend, so I'm excited.
Hey, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Definitely want to say what is up. We got some people joining us in here. JT's back in the house. JT said hello. We've got who else we have in here in the house right now. Definitely, if you're watching right now, please put in the comments. Let us know that you're here. Let us know where you're watching us from, especially
Well,
if it's your first time.
ATM.
Um, yeah, definitely let us know. And I'm with you, JT. I'm with you. Hey, well, that was the wrong comment I meant to put up. But
Where are we getting into?
I was like, wait a minute, that's not it. This
There
is
you
the one
go.
I'm. Uh, that's the one I meant to put up.
All
Sorry,
right.
JT. I'm just putting all your business out there. I don't even know who like you're talking to.
Right.
Anyways, but yes, I am right there with you. I am excited for this episode. And this episode, of course, brought to you by Birdman Studios and the Birdman Show. This one, we are going to be talking about the Coffin Confessor. Now, 100%, like everything else I had no idea what the heck this was. I thought it was like somebody just being funny. In one of our, I thought it was definitely. I thought Carrie was being funny. Like, oh, the coffin confessor. Like, oh, there's somebody's in coffins confessing. Like I didn't really know what any of this was about. Now, Carrie, this was your suggestion. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to kind of give us a little bit into number one why you chose this subject. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on with this guy, introduce us to who he is, and then like I said, I have a video. Well, like I told you guys, they didn't know that, but I have a video with him actually talking about it, and some of the stuff going on. So Carrie, take it away.
So, one of the things that really, like, grabbed my attention about this guy is that it's such a unique thing that I have never heard of anybody else doing. And his tagline, the first time I heard it, it just made me just start dying laughing. So I was like, okay, I got to figure out more about this. His tagline is sit down, shut up, or fuck off. the man in the box has something to say.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
He
First
says
time I
that
heard
at the funeral.
that. Yes. What?
You're muted.
Hey, it might help if I unmute myself. I need that as a bumper sticker. Continue.
He is from Australia. Right now he does business all over the world, but like this all started in Australia. And once I started to learn a lot more about him, like just how he grew up and how he got to be the man who he is today, he's even more interesting and fascinating because he went through a lot of bad stuff. And he doesn't have a bad attitude about everything that he went through. He's very I don't wanna call him upbeat because he's not really upbeat, but he's very
Forthcoming.
yeah, he's very like, genuine. Like, there's no bullshit about him. You ask him a question, he'll straight up answer it. He doesn't beat around the bush. He's just I just like his personality.
I think you'd have
Yeah.
to be like that if you're gonna be doing the kind of stuff he's doing.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying. And to answer that question, yes, JT, yes, at funerals, this is what he does. I know you've watched the movie Wedding Crashers. He's a funeral crasher. So and that's an awesome movie. Love it. If you haven't seen it, don't know what the hell you're doing with your life. But yes, this is where we're at. Okay, is there anything else you wanted to share with us before we got a little bit more into it?
No.
Okay. First of all, I'm gonna before I start the video, first Ace, how much of this did you how much I ask you this every single
Zero.
episode, and the answer is usually always the same.
Zero.
Yeah, yeah. So you're right there with me.
I knew absolutely nothing about him until Miss Thang down. Well, actually, I guess you're over here, aren't you? Wherever
Yeah.
you're below. Okay, just
Yeah.
making sure because I know that you like to play with the boxes, and I'm not sure which way it's set up. But before Carrie
First
brought
of all,
it
let
up,
me tell people about what I do in my private life.
hey, you do what you want to with your boxes.
I only have one.
We're not in them.
I only have one.
Before Carrie had brought it up, I'd never heard anything about it. So yes, it I was given a a trigger warning before I started reading it. I just didn't see the trigger warning in time, and it is rather his life was rough, and by saying rough, that doesn't even come close to describing what his life was like.
Yeah. Um. I- okay. So, like I said, for those who are just joining, we are talking about the Coffin Confessor. And I'm sorry, what was his name again? It's Edgar.
Bill
No,
Bill
that's Bill Edgar.
Mhm.
William Scott Edgar.
Okay. I mean, you didn't have to give his old government name. I was just asking
Hey,
about that.
you know,
I mean, he didn't need anybody knowing that. I'm just, but whatever. Um. So okay, so I will ask this other question. What really drew you to this subject again, Carrie?
I've never heard of anybody doing this, and it's genius. It's genius to pay somebody to basically, he gives the dead the last laugh, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, like, if you got something to say, you pay him, he will go to your funeral, do whatever pretty much whatever you want him to do as long as it's legal,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll take care of it.
Mm. That's genius.
It
That
is.
is
I mean,
really genius. It just
he
really is genius.
his first job was 10,000 Aussie dollars, which translates to $7,000 for US for about an hour's worth of work.
Wow. Okay, you know what? I got to get into this video. I want to hear from this guy a little bit. So we're gonna hear from Mr. Edgar here. So this is him kind of describing, what he does.
The funeral crashing I do isn't just revenge or attacks on other people. It's good, bad, funny, and sad. My name's Bill Edgar, and I am the Coffin Confessor. In short, I crash funerals on behalf of the deceased. At the very start, it's someone's going to interrupt a funeral service. There's a lot of grieving people there. People are upset about all types of things, and then you've got the emotions of the people that are remembering my client, all his lovely times and great memories and that, and then I've got to come in, stand up, and tell everybody to sit down, shut up, or bugger off because my client in the coffin's got something to say, and this is what it is. To be honest with you, it started as a joke. I told a dying man that I'd crash his funeral for him, and he took me up on that offer, and he paid me handsomely to do so. Basically engaged to look after his finances and to look into him. I'm an investigator, more on the financial side, and he had concerns about where his money was going. So for about 4 to 6 weeks, I was investigating his finances, and I got to know him quite well. However, I didn't know I knew he was sick, but I didn't know he was that sick that he was close to death. And the last 2-3 weeks of my work with him in the finances really threw me because he'd lost a lot of weight and he was bedridden, and it was very sad to see somebody decline so quickly. We spoke about death, the afterlife, and what happens, and all the scary stuff. And I suggested he do a eulogy. And he said that he'd been to plenty of funerals where the eulogy is not played out of disrespect for the family or his family friends. They just don't play it. They view it first, and they get cringy and they go, "Oh no, we're not going to play it." So I suggested that I crash his funeral for him and let everybody know exactly what was on your mind. And we got together and we wrote down exactly what he wanted done.
Okay. Okay, so basically this whole empire of his started off as a joke. Um, and the fact that he was investigating this man, his finances, where it was going and everything, and
This aspect of it, yes, but he started
yeah,
out as just a PI.
yeah. So how long was he doing the PI work?
That
Does
I
it say?
don't know.
Okay, it doesn't say that. Okay. But we do know that he was a PI, and he was working on this case in particular, for what was going on. Okay, so all right, here. Okay, we're here. Let's just dive into this. Okay, let's just go ahead and let's just dive into this. Let's just rip the band-aid off and go. Okay, so Carrie, start walking us through what's going on with this man and his empire.
So one thing that do want to touch on, I don't really want to go into super details because he did write a book, and it's more of like a memoir of his life with the business stuff that he did for the Coffin Confessor sprinkled throughout it. Um, but to kind of see where he's at now, it's good to see where he came from.
Mm.
And I'd like to touch on that at least a little bit. I don't really want to go into super detail because it is a big trigger. I tried to warn Ace, but it was pretty bad. He didn't have any of his family supporting him. His mom was a chronic gambler. They lived in basically the equivalent of government housing, Section 8 housing in Australia. It was him and 4 siblings, I think.
Yes.
And his grandfather from his mom's side. And his grandfather abused him physically, mentally, psychological torture. This man he was not a good man. He was a very just disgusting man. Um, the one thing that he had going for him was that he was pretty gifted at sports. It was just one of those things that came naturally to him. And he got lucky, and he ended up getting a scholarship to a prestigious secondary school, which is a high school in Australia.
Yeah.
It's like only the top
Right.
Huh?
It was a full ride. The
Yeah,
only thing
full
that he
ride.
had to pay for was uniforms and books.
No, he didn't have to pay for his books, just the uniforms.
Oh, that's right. The school loaned him books.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
So he did end up getting into this amazing, basically high school, on a full ride scholarship so he could play soccer. But even once he got there, he didn't have a good time. It was not an easy task for him. He went to the less good schools as like all the rich people that he was going to school with then. An example was that he always thought cat was spelled K-A-T because he only saw it on Kit Kat bars when he went to the store. He didn't know it was spelled cat, C-A-T. And
Wow.
later, come to find out, he was actually dyslexic.
Okay.
So, and then like just some of the stuff I didn't get all the way through the book because I was not emotionally prepared for all the background and all the abuse and things that he went through. I thought it was going to be more towards like his jobs. But one thing that really just irked me because this school is still around. He was really good naturally at math. That was just one of those things that he got. So, but the teachers wouldn't teach him. They would call him a charity case. They would have him go and clean the grounds instead of actually teaching him. One teacher told him to go sit in the back of the classroom and play with his crayons.
But yet they were still advancing him.
Mhm. No testing or like they just kept passing him to get rid of him, basically.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. That's crazy. That
yeah.
is wow. Ouch.
But yet
That's
he
just
did not graduate. He actually quit school because he had gotten to the point where he felt like he needed to open up to somebody. And one of his teachers, he had felt a connection with him that he could trust that teacher. So he went to that teacher to open up to him. And the teacher showed compassion towards him, but then later turned it around and used it against him and did the exact same thing that his grandfather was doing.
Even the
wow.
grandmother, when he tried to go to her when he was younger and said, "Hey, grandpa is hurting me." And instead of helping him, she beat him with a cheese grater.
Beat him with a cheese grater?
Yeah.
What the
Now, granted, she felt remorse afterwards,
And
right? But nothing was done. She scolded him, telling him not to upset Grandpa and quit misbehaving.
try harder to be a good boy.
Yes,
I don't
Yeah.
I
So by
okay.
the age of 14, he was a street kid. He ran away and ended up living on the streets around the age of 14.
Wow. Wow.
At
That
17, he went to prison.
at 17 he went to prison?
He
Yeah.
went to the same prison his father went to many
So is his
years
father
after
still
the
alive?
fact.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
his
his
father was
father,
out.
I think his father was, I don't know. I tried every way I could to figure out who this guy was because he is supposed to be some notorious gangster. Um, his name was William Billy Edgar. His nickname was the Irishman. And I could not find anything on him. No, it's not from the movie.
Oh, are you sure?
it's not the boxer.
It's not.
Oh, but they did make a different Irishman.
Yes,
They had nothing to do with boxing. He was a gangster.
yes.
It's not that Irishman.
Are you sure?
Yes.
How
He was an
sure are you?
Australian.
That came over.
How much research did you
Ireland.
do?
How much research did I do?
No, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Other way, jackass.
He said he's second guessing your research.
I'm not saying get research. She said she couldn't find anything anyway, so obviously the research wasn't that great.
Like, all the information I got on this guy was from pieces of the book, a bunch of different interviews. Like, I had to Frankenstein this information together to get it together.
That's crazy.
And it's
That's
still-
crazy. I mean, that tells you a lot. I mean, that definitely tells you a lot. If like you said, if he's a notorious gangster, it's easy for him. It'd probably be pretty easy for him to blend in somewhere or hide. I'm not gonna say blend in because I'm assuming he's from Australia. He's probably at least 6'8". But anyways,
During the time when he was really prevalent, there was a lot of police corruption. Like, a big case that he was, like, kind of involved in. They actually reopened it, like, a few years ago to find out what actually happened because there was so much police corruption back in the 70s, 80s. So, who knows?
maybe the Irishman movie, they changed it up to throw people off the case.
It's not the Irishman, it's a different He's not even listed on Australia's most notorious criminals page on Wikipedia.
Of course he's not, because he's a boxer. Anyways, on the next Birdman show, conspiracy theories. But
don't throw that out there because they're going to be expecting it now.
we got a show lined up for it. I don't know if we're doing it this season or next season. I can't remember.
Next season.
But we're definitely got a show lined up. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Because I know I got people that are gonna be searching up the Irishman, the movie, to double check these things. It was a good movie though, it really was. But we're gonna take a quick commercial break. And we're gonna take this break. And this break is gonna be brought to us by W Energy Drinks. Definitely, if you want something that's gonna keep you going throughout the day without any crash or jitters, you definitely need to go check these people out over on W Energy Drinks and their platform. But yeah, definitely check them out. Tell them the Birdman sent you. And we'll be right back with more of the Birdman Show right after this.
Hi, I'm going to tell you about Dubby Energy Drinks. Dubby is an energy drink you mix at home. No jitters, no crash. Dubby is formulated to give you focus and energy. Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, and nootropics, including the patented Nuofactor. No calories, no sugar, no fillers, no artificial colors. So if you need something to give you energy to take on the whole world, Dubby Energy is what you need. Go to dubby.gg. That's DUBBY.gg. Use promo code Birdman Show for 10% off your orders and tell them the Birdman sent you.
Yo, what is up, everybody? How you doing? It is your boy, it's the Birdman, and this is the Birdman Show. Come on. You know what to do, so let's just do it. That is correct. I'm getting better about that. That way Ace is not complaining about me. We've done it like 4 times. Don't say do it one more time. God. Anyways, we are back here on the Birdman Show. I am joined, of course, by my two awesome co-hosts, Ace and Carrie. How are you guys doing so far with this crazy case?
Doing good. I'm glad that we didn't spend that much time on his childhood because, like Gary said, that's a big trigger. Some of the stuff that he went through as a child. It just goes to show it doesn't matter how you're raised or where you grow up. You make of yourself what you want to be, and you don't let the elements around you dictate that.
Now, I will say this before I go to Carrie. That's I'm glad you said that, Ace, because that was one thing I was thinking about in the last segment. We started talking about, a little bit that was going on with his childhood and everything. A lot of cases we've done thus far has really like it really centers around some of these people within these cases that have had unspeakable acts happen to them as children, and they grow up into these adults, and then all of a sudden now they have unalived all kinds of people, or going on these different types of sprees. And I ain't talking shopping sprees, and I ain't talking about spree wells, 15-inch spinners on your tires. I'm talking about just going out and Rambo and everybody. But it's interesting to see that he was able to take um what had happened to him in his earlier years. Sorry, I had the hiccups there. Good God. In his earlier years, and really, like I said, make something of himself. That is awesome. I definitely hate the fact that I don't want I would never want anybody to have to experience anything like that as a child. It's just that's just it should never ever happen. But I am glad that he was able to elevate himself in his life, and actually really become something. Carrie, how are you doing so far with this?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to get into the nitty-gritty that kinda shows who he is as a person today.
Now you're talking my language. Now you're talking my language, lady. So, for those who just joining us and those who are,
I'm
I'm
sorry,
sorry, we
I'm
say,
gonna interrupt you. I have that ability now, but just to clarify, I did do the research and I looked up. It's looking like it's Bob Edgar was his father, and he did in fact what he was the leader of a large uh, gang in Australia. But even searching for the Irishman, searching his name, searching Bill Edgar's father, the amount of information on him is very scarce. So I mean, as far as to where he was in the picture whenever he was growing up, um, he was probably in prison. That would be my guess.
Yeah, from everything I've seen that he didn't grow up with his dad.
No,
He was not around.
mm, okay,
It's not like he would have helped if he was there anyway, so
maybe
no.
well,
his dad being
you
a
don't.
gangster. I don't think maybe none of that stuff ever even come close to happening to him.
It wasn't
Yeah,
his dad doing it.
but we don't know what his dad was like. We just know he was a gangster.
Well, I'm guaranteeing you that as a gangster, he ain't letting something like that happen to his kid. It might be, he might be doing some other stuff.
He might
He might have become a criminal. I'm saying
he might have
that
been
might have
just as
happened.
bad. We don't know. We know nothing about this man.
That's a true statement.
That is
He could have been
that's a true
just as
statement.
Mhm.
but
That we don't know anything about him.
don't
But
know.
like I said, I mean, it's one of those things, man. It's just when you come to variables like that, there's so many different ways. It's a two-way street. I mean, it's like a fork in the road. You go
That's what
left,
I was gonna say. There's too many
yeah,
unknown variables.
yeah. And like I said, that's what sucks with a lot of this stuff. Like we talked about with the Ruby Frankie case, the fact that the kids weren't with the father, they were with the mother, and he didn't know all this stuff was going on. So it's like one of those things. Okay, would the kids would they have been better off with the father, or would this still would have happened? We don't know. And that's kind of like the point I guess that was kind of the point I was making with that is that I mean maybe none of this stuff ever happens to him because of the father, because he is a gangster, because everybody else is probably a little bit intimidated, if not terrified of him. You don't know. And that's unfortunate. But that's what we get to do here. We get to speculate a lot, make up different things. It's beautiful. I love it. Love it. So, like I said, for those who are joining us, that we are definitely talking about, as you see there on the screen, the Coffin Confessor. Now, the first part of the first segment we did before the commercial break, Carrie walked us through a little bit of the background of this man, and then we played a video. He himself was talking about what he was doing. Now, I didn't look at the whole entire video. I probably won't play. I definitely won't play the entire video. But we might revisit it later. Right now, what I want to do is I want to let Carrie dive a little bit more deeper into this, and let us know what is going on with this dude, the Coffin Confessor. So take it away, Carrie.
I'm
So
Oh, wait, Ace is going to interrupt. Go ahead.
Carrie. At the point of the video that you're at right now, it's leading into the first case that got him started on this.
Okay. So do you want me to go ahead and play that?
Do you want to play it now or do you want to wait? I'm
Carrie?
asking.
I would wait.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead and get into the introducing him, what he is, what he's about, and then we can play.
Yeah, so after he got out of prison, his now wife actually helped him once he got out of prison. Like, he met her, I think, right before or right after he got out of prison. And for over a decade, he was actually known as one of the best debt collectors in Australia. Because he had this mindset of, because remember, he grew up dirt poor. He had no money. So he was like, I always thought they got themselves into this shit, so it was up to them to get out of it. And if they couldn't, we had to force them. And they basically were paid to harass people. That was their job, they're debt collectors. And one time he had been he this is his words, he had been harassing a woman over the phone for a payment over a traffic fine debt. And then he later heard that she had actually taken her own life. And he said that he was absolutely devastated, and he said, I came from a really hard, rough background myself. And when I heard the lady had taken her life, first off, I blamed myself, thinking I had harassed, belittled, and intimidated her to death. And that's what woke me up. These people might actually be telling the truth. He was so shaken up by her death that he investigated Australia's billion-dollar debt collection industry. And he was just shocked by how it was set up. They would buy people's debts in pools. So each debt would cost this company less than 1% of what the actual debt was for. And that's when he opened his own business. And this is kind of how it all kind of gets started, is called Freedom from Debt Collectors. And this is still a company that's being run and everything. He's like the head of it. And basically he does financial digging, trying to see if the debt was insured. If it was, they don't owe on it. If say they owe $10,000, but the debt collection company only paid 500 for it, why aren't they getting out of the debt for the 500? There's a whole bunch of other stuff behind it. So on his first case, he was the gentleman's name was Graham, and he was doing financial digging because Graham was sick. He didn't know he was dying, but he knew he was sick, and Graham's money was coming up short. And he was trying to figure out basically who was stealing from him, who was taking his money and doing stuff like that. And that's kind of how this whole thing got started. He actually found out, I think, I can't remember, somebody was stealing like 40 or 50 grand from him, and they figured it all out. And that's when the joke came in, and he found out he was actually dying. And he said, well, write a eulogy. And he's right. Most people, oh, we're not going to play that at the funeral. We're not going to read this at the funeral. It's going to hurt somebody's feelings. Well, it's not. It doesn't matter what you think. This is for him. And a few weeks later, that's when Graham was like, hey, I want you to do this for me. And he's like, wait, are you serious?
Yeah, that's all that's just wild to me. But it makes a lot of sense. I do want to, before I finish, I do want to touch on this one. Becca said, and this is going back to what we were talking about, the father, with the father not being around. He said he could have been worse, or his father could have promoted his son to the same gangster life that he was in, which are all 100%. That's 100% true. Either way, depending on either way, his quality of life may not have been the best, until he got on his own 2 feet and was able to make something of his own life. I just want to say, hey, the Itzy has joined us now. And Angela's joined us. All right, hey, good evening, all. We're gonna put her on there. Bam. We want to thank you guys for joining the episode today. Okay, so Ace. Okay, Ace. What are some of your thoughts going into this as we're talking, and especially as Carrie is talking more about what's going on here?
To fill in the gaps, the person that was siphoning the money out, he was, whenever he was doing, it was his personal account. Whenever he was doing the books, he was skimming some off and putting it into his own account. Yeah.
Cooking them books.
Yes. And the first time that Graham had gotten a hold of him, after after all of this was said and done, it was 6 months later before he was able to get back to him to discuss the eulogy. And by that time, he had declined so much that it was only 8 days later that he was standing up at his funeral.
Wow, that's crazy. That is definitely crazy. I am scared to see what Itzy's final words would be. I don't.
Want me to read them for you, Amber? I'd be more than happy to come to Colorado and read them for you.
Yeah, you know what? We might. Matter of fact, you know what we could do, Ace? We can go do an episode of the Birdman Show live in front of her casket. And just and say whatever she wants us to say at her funeral. I would do that for you. I think that would be awesome. If that's what you want. I'm saying. But anyways, no, that is very like this whole thing is just it's mind boggling to me. And it's crazy because the reason why he started that company is the same reason why there's so many issues here in America. Uh, from debt collectors, they're the ones that honestly, I'm not gonna say they're the ones. They are partly responsible for the reason why a lot of people in society have declined, because it's so hard for them to get out of debt. Now, they were the reasons they got themselves into debt, 100%. I'm not gonna say that the people who get themselves into debt are out are not without fault. Heck, I mean I got my own little bit of debt too, but just like what Carrie was talking about, with the fact that these debt collectors they're buying these debts for like pennies on the dollar, and they're able to take that, and then now they're hounding people, and now they're saying, now we're gonna come after you, we're gonna come after your house, we're gonna take the car, we're gonna start garnishing your wages to where now you definitely can't live, and you can barely take care of your family. So it's just crazy to hear all that. And I'm telling you, it's wild that this is something that is. I just thought it was an American thing. I never even really thought this would be something that would be over, somewhere else in a different country. Because Americans, I love y'all to death. I really do. We are very wasteful, as a society, and we create a lot of stupid things, stupid debt. Debt is one of the biggest ones. I mean, look at the freaking national debt. I didn't even know there was a such thing as a trillion. Um, and we are trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. Okay, and you would think there was somebody in the ghetto running national debt, just buying up stuff. Um, so Carrie, I'm gonna ask you this question. As we start getting into this first case of what's going on with this guy, um, you had talked about the fact that he had found out that his money was coming out of his accounts and everything. And as Ace helped us fill in the gap, turns out it was his accountant. Uh, this time it wasn't the butler. But so okay, so take us from there and into this first case and how everything was going with that.
So over the time where he was investigating where this money was going, they actually became, kind of like close friends. And Graham, the way that Mr. Edgar always talked about him was like when in his younger years, he was one of those scrappy dudes that liked to fight. So if something bothered him, he was ready to fight and, defend whatever. And now at this point, he's on his deathbed and
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was reading the comments. Can you put Deception King comment up there?
Yeah, I'm gonna put this one up here real quick. Carrie says she wants someone to dress as the Grim Reaper, telling people that he's there waiting for the next person after me. And then Deception King, I was reading that one as well. Holy
Somebody
crap, bro!
text every
I
one of my
would totally
contacts
do that.
3 days after my passing, saying the Wi-Fi sucks here.
Yeah. So, matter of fact, thank you, Carrie, thank you, Deception King, for those comments. If you're out there and you're watching, hey, what would be something you would want said or done at your funeral after you're gone?
I've already
If
got mine
not, I
set
will
up.
make something up and I will do it for you. Go ahead,
If
Ace.
I pass before my sister is going to stand at the door, and anyone who was not in my life while I was alive will not be allowed in the door to wish me goodbye.
Yeah.
But anyway,
y'all are jumping ahead. Just wait.
carry on, Carrie.
So yep. 100%.
Yeah, and real quick, that's one thing that always bothers me when it comes to funerals. The person that's there just wailing away and just freaking crying. Those are, I'm telling you right now, 100%. That's usually the person who either did that person did them the most wrong, or just never appreciated them while they were there. You can always tell that, and that sucks. But go ahead, Carrie.
Okay.
So Graham had contacted him on he was basically dying at this point, and he said, my best mate has been basically sexually harassing his wife. He's been hitting on her. He's been doing really just shady shit the entire time because Graham is literally stuck in bed. He can no longer physically get out of bed. He was intentionally spilling stuff on his clothes, so he would have to take them off. He would be grabbing her butt and just basically being an all-around douchebag. Plain and simple. And so Graham said, "I will pay you $10,000 to get up at my funeral and tell everybody what I think." He actually the one thing I really like about him is that he actually takes it a step further and he gets video evidence of the best man, best friend, whatever, doing these things. So he gets video evidence. So his PI skills come out. He gets video evidence that this is an actual thing. So he can't be sued for defamation or anything like that. He does have the people that he stands up for record a video saying, "I want him to do this. So this is my last wish." And he has them hand write things out. So he's covering his ass at the same time of doing this for the people that he's doing this for, the deceased. A few weeks later he died, and he in one interview I found he said he was most nervous trying to figure out what to wear to the funeral because he's not technically a friend, he's not family, and then he was trying to figure out where to sit, and it was just like it was almost humorous to me. You're getting ready to stand up and interrupt this man's funeral, but you're more worried about where you're going to sit down during it. And I'm like, okay, hey, to each his own. And Graham left specific instructions. He said, "Wait for the best friend to get up and start the eulogy, and interrupt him within 2 minutes of him starting." And before that 2 minutes was up, that's when he stood up and said, "I'm Bill Edgar. I'm the Coffin Confessor. I need you to sit down, shut up, or fuck off. I'm the man in the box, or the man in the box has something to say."
No, he did not say that. He did not say, "I'm Bill Edgar. I'm the Coffin Confessor" on the first one,
Okay,
because
whatever.
he
Do
wasn't
you
the
know how
coffin.
many video interviews I watched?
Did you have something to say, Birdman? Your lips were
No,
moving.
I was gonna say I understand why, because when Carrie was talking about he was most worried about where to sit, what to wear, and all that stuff. I understand why he would be. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do, to go into a funeral
Yeah,
and
but he wasn't
say these
worried
things.
about interrupting it.
Huh?
He wasn't worried about interrupting the funeral. It was what he was gonna wear and where he was gonna sit. He
No,
didn't
that's what
give
I'm
2
saying.
shits about interrupting it.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, where to sit, because you want to be, if you're gonna do something like that, you definitely want to be in an area to where, number one, you have, you can get it out, say it, or also be able to take off running if you have to. So you might want to make sure you're wearing something definitely with comfortable shoes that you can run in case you got to take off running. Okay, so I get that's where I was going when I said I could understand why he would probably be thinking that kind of thing. Okay, so that's what I was going with that. Okay, so where are we at now? You have something else to add to that?
Yeah. Earlier, I was going to read the synopsis for his book because I read it before. Don't you fucking? Why are you fucking laughing at me?
I'm laughing at you because you got the light on like you're an usher at a movie theater. Like, you just heard the-
Fuck you. Um.
He wonders why he looks like Casper.
Uh,
Uh,
Ooh, she said pasty bastard.
Go ahead, Carrie. I'll find it and then I'll interrupt you.
That sounds like some great motivation right there.
No, I found it. Said, imagine you were dying with a secret, something you've never had the courage to tell your friends and family, or a last wish, a task you need carried out before you can rest in peace. Now, imagine there's a man that can take care of that with no respect for the living, who will do anything for the dead. So, as far
Great
as
trailer for a movie.
him walking in there, the only reason why he had a hard time figuring out where he was going to sit is because, like Carrie said, he didn't give 2 fucks if he interrupted that damn funeral service.
No,
He's there to do a job. He was getting paid to do a job, and he was going to fulfill that job. It sounds like a
nah, I
job.
mean, I'm with you. I'm with you on it. I mean,
Right.
like I said, I
But
ain't
yeah, carry on, Carrie.
carry on my wayward son. Go ahead. Go, I'm sorry.
Squirrel 1 and Squirrel 2. Okay. So, once he interrupts the best friend's eulogy, and the first thing he's asked to do is he says, "I need to know who Graham's son is." And Graham's son raises his hand or stands up, and he said, "I need you, your wife, and your daughter to get out. You didn't see this man for 30 years while he was alive. Why are you here now?" And he was asked to escort them out if they did not leave of their own free will. So that's how the whole thing started, before he even jumped in on the best friend. So the son, the wife, and the daughter, they left peacefully, thankfully. Um, and he actually opened an envelope, and inside was a handwritten letter by Graham detailing everything that this supposed best friend was doing to his wife while he was on his deathbed. And he could literally see down the hallway into the kitchen where this was happening, but he couldn't do anything about it because he was bedridden.
And he
And
didn't
he,
say anything about it because had he said anything about it, what could he have done?
mhm,
And he was afraid that it would have just gotten worse.
yes. And he went on to say that I have video evidence of this. He explained that we have proof. And then he folded the letter back up and put it in the envelope and set it on the coffin. And the best friend ended up like pretty much rushing out, like pale as hell and shaking. And he said a couple moments later, a lady got up and looked pissed. So he said he was assuming that it was that dude's wife following him out. And later, the Graham's wife actually came up to him and said, "Thank you so much.
Nope.
Wasn't Graham's wife?
It was Graham's daughter.
Oh, Graham's
But
daughter came up.
during the whenever he was doing his speech and everything, he made sure that he noted that his wife rejected his advances every time.
hmm So he
Go ahead.
basically her honor.
Yes.
That way, she wasn't looked at as somebody who was cheating on a dying man.
What was stated? What? Did it out for you? Okay.
What happened?
I guess we figured it out.
Oh,
okay. We covered it for her.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
But yeah, whenever he got up to leave, his Graham's daughter got up and followed him out and thanked him for doing that and invited him to the wake afterwards. I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the way it was described. But I mean, in America, the wake's before and then the funeral. I guess the wake is after the funeral there to have everybody
It's
get
the
together.
family. It's the gathering.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the afterwards thing. It's after
Mhm.
party.
Pretty much.
But she thanked
I
him.
just want to say this real quick. I'm not exactly sure who Des is referring to. Who Birdman's? Who is Birdman?
My
Got to
face.
typing a little too fast there, did you, babe?
It's not but
It's all good. It's all good.
she did thank him for bringing that up because it brought light to what he was doing, and like Carrie said, it saved the reputation of his mom, letting everybody know that even though her husband was dying and somebody was coming on to her, she stayed faithful to her husband.
That's cool. That's awesome. Hell, I know some of these crackheads out here. If another dude or another girl give them a piece of gum, they just threw the whole relationship out the window. So that's pretty amazing. That is actually pretty amazing. Okay, so how much more of this? How much more of the first part of this you want to get into before we either revisit this video or we take a break?
That was all I had on the first job.
That's all you have on the first job.
If
Okay.
you wanted to, play the rest of the video before we take a break.
You said say that again, Ace. I'm sorry.
I said if you wanted to, you could go ahead and play a little bit of more of the video, and then we could take a break for the sponsors.
Yeah, that's what I was planning on doing.
Okay. Just
Wait.
be on track.
Yeah, roger that, roger that. Okay, so we're gonna play another little part of this, and like Ace said, this part is kind of going into basically almost kind of recapping what Carrie just talked to us about. So let's check this out, and let's see how he's describing it to us.
After the Duke's passed. Did you touch something? We ain't got no volume.
Crack onto his wife while, my client was on his deathbed. He could see all this going on, and she was quite upset about it too. So, this guy, whilst he played the friend card, he wasn't a friend. He was just a vulture as well. So it was good to out him at the funeral and see him slither out. And it was something that I felt had to be done. I got a lot of evidence and proof before I did this, obviously, as an investigator, because I didn't want to just out somebody at a funeral. You've got to have some sort of factual information or images as what I got. I mean, every client that asked me to crash their funeral, their will reading or their wake, or even to go and do home sweeps where I clear out their homes in case items are found by family and friends that they don't want found, I do look into them. And as an investigator, I'll make sure that I investigate their claims. And if I find that they're dubious or they're not, quite real, I'll sort of tend towards something else and lean towards something else so that they can open up a bit more or I can get more information. But to be honest with you, these people that are on their deathbed, they're not going to lie. And, they're too close to death. They've either experienced a lot of love, hurt, and the funeral crashing I do isn't just revenge or attacks on other people. It's, it's good, bad, funny, and sad. So it's a whole range. People knocking on death's door, they've only got a limited time to, they stay awake, they're very weak, they like to sleep a lot. They have other family and friends that come and see them, so it's not like I'm in their face. But I do get to know their secrets, their deepest desires, their hates, their loves, their fantasies, things that some people, even the closest people to them, don't know. I get to hold these secrets for them until they pass, and then I reveal them. And that's a beautiful thing in some ways because it's letting their voice out, and I loan my voice to them basically. So it's quite a humbling experience, and I'm very proud to be able to hold those secrets to the people that I do. If someone hired the Coffin Confessor and wanting to confide and confess in a crime they've done, if they tell me what the crime is, I have to report it. However, if they write it down and put it in a postage envelope and I post it to myself or they post it to me and I don't open it until the day of the funeral, I don't have to report it until I know, which has become a legality thing for me because I'm always looking at ways to protect myself from litigation.
Run Windows on Mac and open a...
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it was going to go into all of that. The way that he was talking, it sounded like he was going to explain his first case.
Yeah, sorry about that. Stupid thing wouldn't stop. What were you saying, Ace?
I was just saying that the way that he was talking on the video, whenever you stopped it earlier, it sounded like he was going to go into more detail on his first case, but
He does. It's just a little bit later in the video.
Yeah, he squirreled.
Yeah, I mean, what he was basically doing was kind of giving, walking you kind of through with the reasoning and some of the things that you have to do, what you had to do with what was going on. But if I remember correctly, it definitely does come a little bit later, within the show or within that episode, of what he was talking. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, and I think the part that I really liked about it, that really kind of stuck out to me was the fact that when he said, it's kind of beautiful in the same sense of the simple fact is, the that he is 100% right. It's a way for the dead to speak one last time, and sometimes, unfortunately, that's the only time anybody would ever actually hear him. I think we as people in society, we sometimes we just don't listen. We don't take the time to listen, and then we wish that we could talk to that person one more time, and actually hear what they were saying. But by that time, it's too late. So I do think that is actually a beautiful thing. I would just love to be able to go tell him a couple times to a couple of these funerals just so I can see the reactions of people. I would probably be that one dude in the back just busting out laughing in stitches. Like, oh, he just said your mama is your mom and daddy are actually brother and sister. But anyways, Carrie, don't laugh at that. Um,
Damn.
I, I don't know why that
I think I missed that in my research.
I don't remember that case either.
No.
it was on the underground tapes. Here's what we're gonna do. We are gonna take another quick commercial break. This commercial break is going to be brought to you by our sponsor of Spotify for podcasters. One of the easiest ways for you to do an audio podcast. But they're not just doing audio podcasts. You're able to do a video podcast on there as well, uploading to their platform. So when we get back from hearing from this sponsor, we're gonna get just a little bit more into this and talk about what's going on with this crazy case, the Coffin Confessor. Hey, it's the Birdman here, and I have a question for you. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? If so, have you heard about Spotify for podcasters and why it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place? Allow me to explain. Spotify for podcasters has the tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone, tablet, or computer. And when hosting on Spotify for podcasters, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. It's really everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. And the best thing about it, it's totally free. So what are you waiting for? Go to podcasters.spotify.com to get started. And just tell them a little birdie told you. A Birdman, that is. Hey everybody, how you doing? It is your boy. It's the Birdman. You know what? I've been told that before, Ace. I have been told that before. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, we have a private chat that we can do within the studio, and so we sometimes, I'm preface this to anybody who ends up joining the show later for a podcast. I will sometimes I'll put stuff in there just to kind of throw guys off, but today they're doing it to me. But it is what it is. It's all good. Yeah. Well, Ace told me he said Birdman would make a good politician. I've been told that quite a bit. Anyways,
behind that was because he spews a lot of bullshit out of his mouth.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I'm speaking straight facts over here. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Anyways,
I mean, Dad, brother and sister.
Hi, I'm the Birdman. This is the Birdman Show. And you already know what to do, so let's do it again, Ace. That is right. That is right. We're here on the Birdman Show. I am joined with Ace. I'm joined with Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing so far?
Doing good.
Doing
Keeping
good.
up.
Out freaking standing. Ace, how the heck are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. Fabulous.
Fabulosus. With the mimosas. Yeah, so we're all doing very wonderful. This case it's crazy. And I'll say it's more of a good kind of crazy compared to some of the cases we've done in the past. It's just one of those ones, just not something you would actually, really just think of. Which is the reason why I know that myself and Ace had never heard of this guy or this case. But we are talking about the Coffin Confessor. and this incredible business that he's been able to establish, which is not his only business, as Carrie explained to us earlier, with the business he does was what was it called, freedom from debt.
Freedom from debt collectors or something like that, yeah.
Okay, freedom from debt collectors, which is his main business. And it's awesome. You know, we talked about his upbringing, how rough it was, and we definitely did not get into all of it. But we talked about some of the things he went through as a child, and the fact that he was able to not become um, what he had went through. And I just think I'm out of everything that is going on with this topic we're talking about. That is probably the most impressive thing to me. Out of is the fact that he went through hell and back, and then went back to hell, and still came out of it a better person, a better man, and I think that's just phenomenal. So
Just
yeah,
to let you guys know, um, I got the book on Audible, and I think Mama Bear said that you get a free token every month, and with that token, you can buy any book that is available to be bought. And I got the audio book for free. I mean, it's a 6-hour book, but it's a lot. Like we said, there are a lot of triggers in the first half of that book, but it has a lot of detail that has led to where he is right now and the man that he has become.
I'm sorry. I was looking around a little crazy, but when you said were giving out free tokens, I was like, "Oh, these giving out free black people? What's going on here?" I didn't know what was going on. I'm
Those
sorry.
are tokers.
Huh?
Those are tokers.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyways,
And Audible gives free credits,
Is that
not token. Yes.
whatever? I just
You get
listened to the
one
book.
credit a month.
Credit token. I mean, hell.
I immediately thought of South Park. I immediately thought about South Park when you said that. That's why I was like, tokens. They're just giving out what? Oh wow, that's just crazy. And then Coach Carey had to correct you, Ace, once again. It's credits, not tokens.
I refrained from correcting her several times, but I didn't. Thanks,
You
Carrie.
have corrected me numerous times tonight.
There were several
No,
other times I
no,
didn't.
no, that's not what he said. No, that's not what. No.
There are shots being fired all over the place, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry. Not sorry.
Carrie was about to hit you with that Will Smith. She was about to hit you with the Will Smith. That's what she's about to do. She's about to say it's the Oscars all over again. Okay, so oh my god. You guys are I can't with y'all. All right. So as we dive a little bit deeper. Yes, you too. You're not exempt. Um as we dive a little bit deeper into this, now I don't remember if I asked you this, Carrie, or not. Was there one of the another case that he had actually taken that was a little bit wilder than this first one? I don't remember if I
I
asked you
mean,
that, if you had that information on any of the other cases.
I have a ton of different cases.
Okay, you
Yes.
have a ton of different ones. Okay,
Yeah.
so is there
That
one
was that
one or
was
two
just
you
one
pick
of the
out?
most in-depth ones because it's his first one, and that if you watch I don't even know how many videos I watched of this man giving interviews, but that's the most common case he talks about because it was his first one.
Mm.
But he's done I think well over 100 at this point in
Hell,
Australia alone.
he's even taking cases in the States.
Mhm. After COVID hit, he got super popular.
Wow. So 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 did he start? When was it? Did he start doing this? Was it 2019 or when was this?
The best I can figure is around 2018-ish
Okay.
is when Graham died. Because it's not like he was going out and advertising this. This all started by
Yeah.
word of mouth. His second case was the niece of somebody who was dying came up to him and said, "Hey, I heard what you did at Graham's funeral. I need you to talk to my aunt." So it was completely word of mouth. It's not like he was planning on, continuing it after Graham's funeral. He was like, "Okay, this is a one-off, no big deal." And then he had somebody come up to him and say, "Hey, you need to talk to my aunt."
Wow.
Yeah, in
Like I
his
just
second case, her daughter flipped the fuck out, and
No,
all it was.
no, you skipped
No,
a
no,
case.
no, no, no. That's a different case. His second case, her children were fighting over the will.
That's the third case.
Was it? Was the
Mhm.
second case the Christian?
Christine.
The Christian
No, Christine.
with the secrets.
Christine, the elderly lady that was dying of leukemia.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Mama Bear. Your husband is stressing me out tonight.
oh god. Y'all are killing me right now. Like y'all, you two. Like y'all just I think y'all just look for a way to correct each other at some point in time. You guys are just looking for a way like, oh wait, oh nope, you messed up. I got you.
It's
It's
brother and sister.
ADD.
What do you expect?
Hmm.
You said what, Ace?
I said we're brother and sister. What the fuck do you expect?
I mean, I get it. I get it. I understand. It's okay. I'm definitely not looking for no apologies. I understand. It's just hilarious to me. Because you're like, yo, no, it was this one. No, it was that's you're skipping. No. Oh no, okay, it was no, sorry. It's
Still
wrong
wrong
again.
line.
Try again.
All right, so tell us about Christine.
So Christine was an older lady that was dying of leukemia, and I believe it was her niece named Pearl had approached Bill to come talk to her aunt. She said, "You really need to talk to her." And for some reason, this one really struck me. I think he was super emotionally attached to this woman compared to Graham and anybody after. He even said that he stayed and talked to her for 3 days, and for what she was asking, it wasn't necessary. Um, but he just imagined how like her as his mom and how different his life would have been if she was his mom.
Yes.
Um, and this one was very different than what Graham wanted him to do. So at this one, he went to the funeral. He waited for it to complete, and then he stood up and opened the letter. And basically, Christine was it was basically saying goodbye. She said, "I'll be waiting for you." She left words of love and encouragement to her husband and her kids, and she said, "Keep talking to me. I'll be listening." Um, but her big confession that she wanted Bill to read out was that she had always been in love with her best female friend, and if they hadn't been growing up in the '60s, she would have been with her. And, he found out later that no one, including her husband or kids, were surprised
Right.
because they always knew that there was something special between them. So it's
Mhm.
not always crazy, "Let's see how mad we can make everybody," kinda stuff. And the next one was the one Ace was talking about,
The will.
where the chick went absolutely ape shit.
Now,
Okay, so what information you have on that one, Ace?
he went into the house and was removing stuff from the house, right?
No, this is just a will.
Okay. So the fourth one was the one where he was removing stuff. The third one, the children drove this woman to her death.
They did.
She had gotten ill and she lived meagerly. She lived on the bare minimums so that she could support her kids. And whenever I almost said Graham. Whenever Bill went to go see her, what she wanted him to do was destroy her will. So that if the kids wanted to fight over who was getting what, they would have to put the footwork in to actually get it done. Because she wasn't just going to give it to them. If they wanted it, they had to work for it. So he destroyed the will. He actually lit it on fire. She told him where it was. He went into the house, got the will, burned it, went back to her with a video showing that he burned it. She told him to call her oldest daughter and let her know what her final wishes were.
And this was the major instigator.
Yes, the one that pretty much told everybody how it was going to be. And told her what he had done. She flipped the fuck out, said, I'm going to call the cops. You're going to jail. This is bullshit. And he just sat there and let her ramble on for about a minute or two. And then finally, I mean, she's over there in her fucking bed, in her hospital bed, shaking because she's laughing so fucking hard that she can't make a noise because she can't know that she's there with him. So at one point she squeezed his arm and he's like, all right, thank you. You have a nice evening.
Mhm.
But yeah, I love that one just because of the way that she responded. She actually got to see him carry out her final wish.
Yeah, so he didn't actually go to the funeral for her, but yeah. Like
So,
she
I mean,
she was literally dying with laughter.
How bad would you feel if how bad would you feel if she actually end up croaking at that moment? Like would you feel bad or would you be like, oh, that's what she wanted? But at the same time,
She didn't
you made
last
her
much
laugh so
longer
hard that
after
she
that,
just,
though. She wasn't around much longer after that.
If that
well,
was
I mean,
the case, the way I'm sure he'd probably look at it the same way. At least you were able to give her her final wishes before she passed on.
yeah.
But
I
yeah,
agree.
that was one of the few opportunities where the client actually got to enjoy their final wishes before being the person in the box.
That's crazy. I wonder how many. I wonder how many cases that you may have had that have been like that though. Not necessarily at a funeral, but maybe like that one with her. If he's actually had the opportunity to do that for others.
He's done
that-
he's done actually quite a bit that is not actually at the funeral.
okay.
Oh, has he?
Yes. He
Okay.
he's expanded his business quite a bit. I don't have dates or the order on most of these because I just like I said, I was getting so many different interviews and stuff online, but he does something he calls what was it? I think house cleaning,
Ooh,
Yes.
where he would go in and clean up things that they didn't want their family to find.
Like there was one lady, she was a devout Christian, and she didn't want her sister coming into her house to find her sex toys. So she paid him. I mean, whenever he got there, it really wasn't anything. It was some lingerie, some toys, a couple of whips or whatnot. And she told him where it all was. He went, gathered it up. In that instance, her sister calls and says, "Don't you fucking take anything out of that house." And he's like, "Well, ma'am, unfortunately, this is not your residence. And I am abiding by the will of my clients. So I'm gonna have to bid you a good day and fuck off."
I just love how you said that it wasn't really much of anything, but I mean, she had some lingerie, some whips, some toys,
Well,
uh, a
there was another
Game Boy.
one.
What?
It was an 88-year-old man hired him to clean out a sex dungeon.
Oh yeah, before his kids found it.
Toys, latex, and everything destroyed. He actually took a video of him burning everything and took it back to his client to show, "Hey, look, it's cleaned out. They're not gonna find anything down there." So the man died knowing his sons aren't gonna find his sex dungeon in in the basement of his house.
And there are a lot of cases that he turns down if it's
Yeah.
something that he deems as unethical. Like there's one where the guy wanted him to go to murder his dog so that his dog wouldn't have to live without him. And he says, I can't do that. I can rehome him for you. And the guy was okay with that. He just didn't want him to be alone. And I mean, I think he said the dog was like 17 years old. So he
Oh,
didn't live longer after Bill rehomed him.
what the? Oh my God. Okay, whatever. Yeah, that's freaking crazy. Um, wow, that's freaking crazy. Like, really, that is really, really, really crazy. Um, okay, so Carrie, what else do you have that you want to share with us at this point in time?
Um, the next one I had was where he went to the religious service.
Oh, that's big.
um, he had a client hire him to interrupt during a religious funeral. When they said, "Let us pray," he stood up and he did his thing. Sit down, shut up, or fuck off. I'm here to speak for my client. Um, he said that he was an atheist. He specifically said he did not want to have a religious funeral. The family arranged it and did it that way anyway. Um, and the priest was, of course, shocked because who interrupts a religious funeral? But he said at the same time he completely understood because that was his last wishes. So why aren't they being followed?
That's my quick. Like, that's a good one. Like, what what do you do in a situation like that? Like, and the thing is and being part of, and like I say, I grew up in, for most don't know, I grew up in a church. My father's a pastor. So we, religious family. Um, and I've
At
seen
one
where
point, weren't
families
you an
they were
associate
so,
pastor?
so what?
At one point, weren't you an associate pastor?
Yeah, I was actually the assistant pastor. Yes,
Yeah.
assistant pastor, youth pastor, as well as I assisted with the musical ministry as well.
And look,
So I mean, huh?
I said, look at him now.
Yeah, just yeah, yeah, hell in a handbasket. Um, but but that was like one thing that used to I always had a question about. It was like, when somebody did something like that, like, people, like, they would tell people, "Hey, I don't want this. My funeral. I don't even want my funeral at the church. I don't want this. I don't want that." But yet still people will, like, all it does is just shows me that you, even in death, you have no regard for that person whatsoever. That's all it really shows me, is that you really do not care one way or the other about that person, whether they're living or whether they're dead. You're just gonna do what you want to do. And I just always thought that was just crazy. to me how that was. That's why I plan on, and I've been thinking about this, and I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna have to. I need to redo my will, and make sure that I have the things in there that I want to be carried out. Because I just, like I said, man, it's just yes, I was a PK, Christy. I was a PK. You couldn't tell. Um, but no, yeah, it's just like growing up in that environment. It's just I get this. I really honestly I think I understand more about this and what he does coming from that, because there was so many times that I was privy to being in different conversations where the people were like, okay, well, their loved one just died, and they were like, well, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and we're like, wait a minute, we spoke to them and they did not want this. Well, we're gonna do it because that's the way we think it should be done. And it's like I really wanted to be like, just like, you know what? I don't want to. Anyways. Okay. So what is the what is the next one you have for us?
Well,
Or do you have any more? Do you want to go and get into some more?
to touch on what you were just saying, he's in one article, and I actually saved the article because I wanted to read it. Um, to touch on what you were just saying, he said the opportunity has come about because I actually care about helping people. And that's what it's all about. It's what life's about, or it should be. I hope to inspire others to do the right thing and to always help people who aren't as strong or who aren't in the position to help themselves. This is what society should be about. The world would be a better place, I reckon. And when asked if he believes in an afterlife, Mr. Egger said he has no interest. No, I've got no interest whatsoever. I'm an atheist. I live and let live, he says. I don't believe there's a hell because, I mean, why? Why's the devil never written a book, but God has? So he's got very strong beliefs that
Well, I mean, technically, I mean, it's not that the devil hasn't written a book or somebody hasn't written a book. Because I mean, God didn't write the book; the people wrote the book.
okay, you missed like the
So
whole point of that entire thing. Like all the words before that last sentence.
I get it. That's what I'm saying. It's like I gotta tell people when it comes to stuff like that, you believe in what you want to believe. I'm not gonna tell you one way or the other. I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong for being an atheist. I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong for being a Christian, a Catholic, Buddhism, whatever you want, Buddhism, whatever it is, whatever you want to believe in it. Um, I mean it's your own personal walk. I'm not here to condemn you or anything else. I'm no better than anybody else, and that's how I view my life. That's how I always will. But this wow, this is just like it's I think this case is more fascinating to me than it is like weird, bizarre, or anything like that. It's just really fascinating because I would love to be able to hear just some of these conversations that he has with some of his clients, and as far as like they're saying, look, this is what I want, and then be able to go actually see it done. I think would be like just the coolest thing in the world. Wow, that's just crazy. Ace, what do you have? We haven't heard from you in a minute. What do you got?
Uh,
Okay, moving along. Anyways, no. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
expect anything less. I mean, you're the one that said that you have to deal with these goofballs every fucking time you're in here. Hello, we're not going to change.
No, we're not.
No, being agnostic, I can somewhat understand the way that he thinks, but with him being atheist and saying that that God's written a book and the devil hasn't, atheism is the belief in the devil. So that's kind of confusing, is it not? What is it?
Atheism does not believe in any higher or lower power.
So it's the same as agnostic,
No.
No.
because
We are
agnostic
We're not going down a religious rabbit hole. We will be on here for like another 6 hours.
You brought it up. All right, but Mox Mix.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch,
the way that he presents himself whenever he goes to the funerals or the services, he's professional about it. He doesn't disrespect anybody in any way. He holds the entire event to a very high standard until it's time to open that envelope, and then he don't fucking care what they say. So I mean, the way he does it is on point.
And he's following their exact wishes.
Yeah.
So if they say interrupt him when they say let us pray, that's when he does it. If he waits 1 minute and 30 seconds into the best man or best friend's eulogy, that's when he does it. So everything is pre-planned by the person that is dying.
oh, I'm sorry because I'm in my mind when you start going through that stuff. I started thinking about okay, I wonder how many black funerals he's done. Because that's a completely different crowd. You go ahead and interrupt if you want to. He might not be walking out of there.
Well, you
So
gotta
I
remember he's not in the US.
but he's been over here though.
Cases in the U.S.
Well, I know, but the majority of his stuff has been in
Right. That's
Australia,
what I'm
and
saying. I still wonder if he has ever. I doubt he's ever been approached by. I
he
I
might
hope
take
not.
security. I have no idea. He doesn't go into that kind of
Yeah, because that's
detail.
what I'm saying. I
He
don't know if
does
he has
have a
because he
second
would
book
definitely
coming
need it.
out.
Oh, is that a second book coming out? Well, he would definitely need security if he went to a black funeral. I'm putting that. I'm telling you that right now. Because they be like, "Who is this white dude?" And now, what I'm saying that there'll be chairs thrown, all kind of stuff. Somebody probably
sit down, shut up, or fuck off. They're like, no, fuck off. You fuck
like,
off.
"Oh, really?" Click clack. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Then, yeah, it would just be. I would pay to see that one. I would definitely pay to see that one. So okay, yeah, moving along here. Okay, so it's like I said, it's fascinating to me about this whole thing because it's just like I said, we've already said this, but just being able to give the voice to the people, um, and it's sad to me that they would have to go through this link in order to be able to be heard. And I think that's what's really sad to me because how many times have we said this, on this show or platform or anything we do that you gotta take the time to appreciate the people that you're with, listen to them, see what's going on, check up on them, and for these people, this is the only way they can actually be heard is to pay somebody to come in to a funeral where people are grieving. Most of the time, it's putting on an act, but I'm not gonna go there. But anyways, to hear these people grieving, and you're gonna have to go in and interrupt that for the ones that are actually truly grieving, and now they have to deal with that. Like like I said, it's crazy. I applaud this man for what he's doing. Um, and just because of what we talked about earlier in his background. Um, okay, so was there anything else? Was there anything else you wanted to share with that, Carrie? As I'm looking up something, or did Ace? Did you have something? One of y'all two? Ace,
Or,
Carrie.
I
you
mean,
want us to take the helm while you do your research front of them?
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Do you want to do another case, Carrie?
Well, they several times on different of a lot of the different interviews that he did they always ask, well, what's the most common thing that people ask of you? And he said that a lot of people are actually terrified of being buried alive. So he's had several people say, "Hey, bury me with my cell phones." One guy asked for a tube to go up to the surface so he could breathe. Um,
Whoa, I thought it was going somewhere else.
no, I'm going in a straight line.
No, you said he asked for a tube. I was like,
Yeah, so
what?
he could breathe in case he wasn't actually dead.
Never mind, Carrie. Just continue.
Let's do research or something.
I am, but I can still hear.
He had one man ask him before the funeral to actually prick him with like a safety pin to make sure that he was actually dead. And he did it. He said, "I need a few minutes," and he went in there and pricked him, and he said, of course, he was dead. He didn't flinch or anything. So, but he does it all, literally.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gene. Just pulling something up. Don't worry, it's not going or anything. It's just, continue.
Um, these next two are my absolute favorite. It's so sweet. He did a romantic gift. A man hired him to deliver chocolates and money and a card to his wife on their anniversary 7 months after he had passed.
Oh,
So
wow.
the first anniversary, their wedding anniversary after he had already passed, he got to deliver that little last bit of love. Um, Another man arranged for his wife to get a special pink carnations in her room, and because she had suffered from dementia, so husband had passed, she has dementia, but he said for about a minute and 30 seconds, he could see on her face that she actually remembered that she had a husband, and he could see the love on her face.
That's
It was
awesome.
so awesome.
That is awesome. All right, I want to play this other little part of the video, real quick, and then I think we're gonna probably end up wrapping this up here a little bit. But I just want to play this other part here, for this going into the video.
It's not a weekly thing. It's not even a monthly thing. It's basically, I have a lot of people on my books that want to engage my services. However, no one knows when they're going to die except for those people that get told right at the end of their life that they're dying. So those people I'm with who have engaged my services, I've got to stay in contact with either themselves or their nurse or their very close family member. Now, those family members and the nurse and all that, they know who I am and what I do, but they don't know what I'm going to do at the funeral of my client. I could end up having 3 funerals in 1 week. I just, it's one of those things. I just have no idea when a person dies, but I do know I have, after I did a show in UK, I mean, there was 4,300 requests for my services. When I first got recognised, it was people that were ill, terminally ill, or knocking on death's door. However, as the last couple of years have shown through COVID, people have started to engage me, and they're quite healthy. There's nothing wrong with them, but they know they could die at any minute. No one's going to leave this planet alive. We're all going to die, and we've all got a secret in the closet, and it's just a matter if you want to let it out or not. So I'm engaged by a variety of people, everybody in different age brackets, and it's really phenomenal how it's grown. But I like the way that we're all talking about death in a positive way, not a negative way anymore, especially in my circles. I try to keep it upbeat. I try to let people know that, we're all going to die. It doesn't matter. You can be upset about it. You can be scared and everything else. But at the end of the day, we're all going. It's a journey we're going to take, and you've got to look at it two ways. You can look at it as a really scary, bad journey, or you can look at it and embrace it and go, okay, well, I am going to go one day, and this is how I'm going to go out, with a bang. My whole childhood was ripped away from the age of 7, abused terribly as a child, and sexually, physically, and mentally, both at home and at school. I've always stood up for the underdog, or stood up against the bully. That's something I've always done my whole life, and it's continued. And I think what I've done and where I've come from in my life has set me up to do what I do today. And that's to be able to walk into a funeral and tell everybody to sit down, shut up. The person in the coffin's got something to say. It's definitely confronting. There's a bit of fear in there. So you've got to have empathy, sympathy. You've got to have the fear factor too, but you've got to know how to be able to talk and get those people on your side. So for me, it's more standing up for those that can't speak. And that's why I give my voice to those that are now departed.
Now, hearing that part, that's why I want to kind of play that because you get to hear from him as to why this is something he does and why he does feel that it's important. And a lot of things he said we hit on earlier, but hearing it from him, from his own words, what are your thoughts when it comes to this case, what he's doing, or I say case, but this subject with the Coffin Confessor? What are some of your thoughts with that? Ace, we'll start with you.
Um, there needs to be more like him, because I know that there's a lot of people that carry secrets with them to the grave. And they do that because they don't have the courage to voice those secrets before they pass. And if they had somebody that could stand up for them and be their voice in a time when they can't be judged for it because they're already gone. But I mean, like, I hate to bring this up. If in Bill's case, if he was the client and he had somebody else telling his story and he had never told anybody about what happened to him as a kid, if he passed at a younger age and his grandpa was still alive, then letting that secret out would change the way that everybody looks at this respectable man and make the question be brought up. It's like, how many other people had he done it to? Because there was one point in his life where his mom actually came and asked him if grandpa had ever touched him. And he said yes. And she let him know that they were moving. And he's like, well, if there's room for me, I'd like to come home. And she told him that we're moving in with grandpa. And I'm like, okay, you bitch. You sold him out. Because there were a lot of times that she would get money from her dad, and shortly after, he would get abused. So she was allowing it to happen to feed her gambling addiction. So, I mean, I honestly think there needs to be more of them out there like him. I mean, even the ones that are still alive, like what we do. We give a voice to the voiceless. And he gives a voice to the dearly departed. So that's my thoughts on the topic tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Carrie, how about you?
He's said in several interviews that he isn't really thinking about franchising, but he actually has signed TV and movie deals like within the past year or so. And I think that this is going to start growing. And I think eventually he will start doing like a franchise kind of thing. Because the
I
way
hope he
he
does.
does it is absolutely, it's perfect because he doesn't just, oh, so and so said this. He's not spreading drama. He has proof and evidence of these things. He does the research before he drops the bomb, so to speak. And
Yep.
a lot of people, especially here in the US, it would be like the Maury Povich show where they're just going like, "You're the baby daddy." Well, where's the proof?
Mhm.
Don't just go up there spouting bullshit. Prove it.
Like
And that's
Carrie,
what I like about him.
with him being a PI, he makes sure that every case is investigated before he presents it.
Yeah, he does his research, and he does say quite a few times in his interviews that, they're on their deathbed, they're not gonna lie at this point. But he still verifies the stuff that he can verify. I'm sure there's things out there that he can't verify, um, but when it comes to, like, dropping big bombs and stuff like that, the from every interview I've seen, it seems like he does do the research to make sure it's actually
It's
true, and
actually
he's not just
true.
going in accusing people of all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely want to put that comment up. Yeah, yeah, it is. I agree. This is definitely not one of our typical shows. It's yeah, it's definitely yeah, it's not that. So if you tune in for the Birdman show to see the other stuff, tune in next week. Anyways, look,
This was
I agree with your guys' view on it. Like I said, it's just my thing is I agree there should be something like this. But I think it should be from the people that are actually within that life. Um it's it's sad that it has to be somebody that has to come in that you have to pay in order to come in to do some stuff like that. I think that's just it's sad to me because there's no one really standing up for these people while they're alive. Thank you, Carrie, aka Mama Bear. Um, that's what's sad to me is that there's no one standing up for them while they're alive. There's no one, fighting for them while they're alive, and it's just really sad to me. Um, I just don't know. Like it just I don't know. It's just sad. I'm very thankful for what this man does. I think this is a wonderful thing. Like Carrie said, I hope he does franchise it because if he does, hey, I'll do it as a side gig. Hire me on. I'm game. Let me do it. I got you, bro. Um, we can get this popping.
honestly, I
But
think there would be several people that would sign up for you, son of a bitch.
I saw you leaning a little too much. I need to get you back in the frame.
Honestly, I think there'd be several people that would sign up for something like that if it did franchise.
Oh, he's had hundreds and hundreds of offers to franchise in different countries. Like, he's in the US, China, Europe. He's, like, all global at this point.
Yeah, I just like the fact that the reason why he's doing it, I mean, the reason why he is so good at it is because of the fact that of his being a part of the um debt collection, and he always has to research. He has to look up these things. Being a PI, he having to do all these things, and he uses all of his skills um at his disposal to do this. And I think that's why it's really important. And the fact that he's just not going off and just like he said in the video, I'm not just going out spreading a bunch of lies. I spend time with these people, especially the ones that are getting the final notice of their life, um, actually being put up there, and saying that hey, you're not going to make it. This is you only have X amount of time before you expire. And he spent how much time he actually spends with these people. I think it's just, I mean, it speaks volumes to the type of level of care that he puts into this. He's just not just careless just out there, just trying to destroy lives. It's not what he's about. I love and appreciate that. Wow, that's just crazy. Okay, so Carrie, madam, let me get your closing remarks for this episode.
Well, I wanna give a couple more things that he's had to done, but they're super short, and I can
First of
only
all,
find, like, blurbs, and they're
first of all,
hilarious.
okay, ma'am. First of
We need
all,
to end on
next
a
time,
funny note.
Super
okay,
short,
next
but
time put that in the private chat so that way I don't look. I'm up here saying we're gonna close down, and all of a sudden you're gonna bring more
I've only
stuff
got,
to
like t
attention.
I've got 2 funny ones that are just so funny I have to say them, okay?
Now let me tell you something. If they're not funny,
Okay.
I swear to God, I'm hopping on a plane. I'm coming down there, and I am gonna freaking throat punch you.
Bring it on.
Keep on. Anyways, what do you got?
He's been asked to have them buried vertically or upside down, and he has
Okay.
actually done this. which I find very funny in an odd kind of way. But my favorite one was a gentleman did not get along with his family and he wanted the last word. So he had to undress the dead body and write on their ass, "Kiss this." So he could have the last word as he was lowered into the ground.
If you're just now joining the Birdman show, I'm sorry for that. Wow, that's how we're ending the show. Okay.
He did it.
I mean, the man is he's definitely he's a man of his word. Um, that's yeah, okay. Anyways, Carrie, what's yeah, don't have some type of way about that. Um, what are your closing remarks for this another episode of Birdman Show? Yeah,
It's been fun.
Is that it?
that's it.
There was an echo.
Oh, okay.
Did it stop? Okay. No, it's been fun. I like bringing the more unique cases that aren't always so dark and grisly that y'all usually cover. So this was a lot of fun. And I can't wait to read his next book because I think it's going to be more focused on his actual confessor job and less about his past.
Hmm. I mean, probably about the best thing to do for him to talk about his past first to get that out of the way, so that way he can spend the whole rest of the whole next book just talking about things he's actually been doing. So that's pretty cool. I'll definitely have to check that out. And
And
go
there is
on
a
audio.
Netflix show in recording right now, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'll definitely have to go on audiobooks to get my tokens. Ace, what are your closing remarks?
I agree. This was a different type of case than what we usually do. But it's nice to change gears and slow down a little bit. This one was a heartfelt topic, something that he takes pride in, and to be able to cover something like this when, like everybody said, we're doing grisly topics usually. Um, Good luck. But yeah, it was a great it was a great podcast tonight. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I did enjoy it. I do like the change of pace. I do like doing cases like this. Like I said, like when we do You Be the Judge, that's a wonderful change of pace for us. I like doing that. This was a great case. We got a few that are going to be coming up that are going to be similar. I mean, not similar, but I mean, somewhat of a change of pace, like with the men's mental health, the battle of the sexes. Those are going to be, I think those are going to be fun. Uh, so I think yeah, I enjoy it. So I thank you, Carrie, for bringing this subject to us. This was a very fun episode. So yeah, so I tell you what, Ace, we're about 7 minutes out. Why don't you tell people what's going on here in about 7 minutes?
At the end of the podcast, don't just leave and go to bed or find something else to do with the rest of your evening. Go ahead and follow us over on the TikTok. Whenever we get over on the TikTok, we do trivia for 2 more hours. So if you enjoy seeing our faces and intertwining with our thoughts, scary. Then yeah, shut up. Then come over come over to TikTok and find us and enjoy some trivia.
Yeah, after
Yeah,
intertwining,
book.
and everything. What the?
I don't know. My fucking head hurts.
I can tell. Now, Carrie, you're not really on TikTok. I mean, you're on TikTok, but you're not really doing like the videos that you had been doing in the past, right?
No, I'm not doing I haven't recorded in, gosh, 6 months or something, if not
Oh, okay. That's
longer.
all right. But yeah, I mean, you can still tell the people where they can find you on TikTok, though. They can
Yes,
see all your
my TikTok is Fury Storm 1.
that should be fairly easy for everyone to remember.
I
Let's
love
see. Nobody
Desi.
safe. Wow.
The fuck? Yeah. Shots fucking fired.
Yeah, she did fire some shots over there, buddy. But yeah, that's what's going on there with Ace tonight. Trivia night. It is really fun. It is a lot of fun. Like I said, always and forever, Tyler Perry for the win. And before too long, like I'm gonna get people on there giving a lot of Medea references. Um, and we've already started getting that. So yes, keep it up, everybody. It's wonderful. Don't forget about tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Central Time. We'll be doing the Birdman Show recap. That's over on my TikTok platform at Birdman Show. We have a lot of fun as well on there because we get an opportunity to talk about, of course, the previous episode. Then we also get the opportunity to talk about upcoming episodes and interact with the audience about potential upcoming episodes. So we'd like to we always love asking for suggestions for the show. It's cool. I think it's a cool thing to do. You get to give us suggestions, and if you would like to be on the show to talk about your episode that you have suggested, we give you that opportunity. That's why Carrie's here. She's given us several suggestions, and she was on here. She's been doing a wonderful job whenever she shows up, other than irritating the crap out of us. Um, but
That's my
she's
side
done a
gig.
wonderful job. These have been really good episodes. What are you about to say, Carrie?
I said that's my side gig, irritating the
That's your
crap out of
side gig.
y'all. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's my
Round your line.
bonus.
Round your line.
Man, she just not
Um,
paid for that job.
but yeah, so yeah, definitely want to come check us out on the Birdman Show recap. It's like I said, it's gonna be tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central Time. Definitely, if you want to check out any of our past episodes, you can do it on Patreon as well as here on YouTube. But Patreon is a little bit different. Of course, it's a paid subscription. We have bonus content on there. I have blooper. I'll put post bloopers and stuff on there. Different type of things. I'm actually going to be starting a segment before too long called Meet the Host, where Ace and I will get on there, and even sometimes what we'll do is we'll bring on um, a previous guest, and we'll interview them, asking them how they felt about the show, the episode that they did. I think it's a good element to add, and that's going to be on our Patreon platform, so that way you can come check that out, enjoy, and by joining, you help us out by us being able to do different things. So it is what it is. We appreciate the help. We appreciate the love. Come show us some love. We are also on Discord. I am not about to take my time to read the whole alphabet off of that, whatever the heck that is. That is something I can't change. So it is what it is. Take a screenshot. That's why I put it on there like that, so that way you can actually get a chance to actually look at it and see what the heck is going on there. Because I am not about to read all that out. So definitely go check that out yourselves. Yeah, I think that's pretty much freaking it. Number one, we definitely want to thank everybody for joining us for this episode. It's been fun. It's been real. And like I said, this is another Birdman Studios production. Um, and we talked about that right there, the Coffin Confessor from the Birdman show. Now, Ace, tell the people real quick. I think next week we are doing what is that? Kelly Ann Bates, I believe. Okay, we're
Yes.
doing Kelly Ann Bates next week. The guest for that show is going to be the lovely Desiree Hole. Love you, babe. Is going to be joining us for that episode. That should be very interesting. I have no idea who the heck this is. So I'm definitely gonna have to. I'm gonna have to.
Be very interesting learning about her next week.
Yes, it's gonna be very interesting learning who the heck she is. Yes. Yes. So looking forward to it. Carrie, do you have anything else you want to say to the people before we get the heck up out of here? Okay,
No,
great. That's
just
all.
thanks for coming.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Thank you definitely for showing up. We really appreciate you guys. Like I said, once again, we really thank you guys for joining us here on the Birdman Show. Ace, nothing else?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, hey, people,
Well,
once again, like I said,
there's one thing.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, there is one thing. I'm glad you got to learn about the Coffin Confessor tonight.
Yes, I'm glad also. Like, seriously. Seriously.
Love you, brother.
I'm about to kick you out of the studio. Like I said, we definitely want to.
Like I said, I want to thank y'all for joining us here on the Birdman Show. The baby had to make an appearance. But we want to thank you once again for joining us on the Birdman Show. We will see you guys next week when we talk about Kelly Ann Bates right here on our platform, YouTube. Next Wednesday, 6 p.m. I'm talking a little bit longer because I just love the voice. 6 p.m. Central Time on the Birdman Show. Birdman out. Do it with me one last time. We can love this thing, man.